Hey guys, welcome back to another video from Propulsion Swimming. As I'm sure you're all aware, swimmers have some of the biggest and broadest shoulders in the business, but that does mean they take a lot of looking after. Shoulders are one of the largest and complex joints in the body, with many muscles, ligaments and tendons to care for. That does mean injuries, especially when swimming, are common. So with that in mind, in this week's video, we're going to take you through 5 shoulder rehab exercises you can do at home using a resistance band that can help you when you're either trying to recover from a shoulder injury or if you're just trying to prevent one from happening in the future. So let's get into it. So the first exercise you're going to do is the front raise. It's a common one, so you should all know it. This exercise is primarily for shoulder flexion, and it's a great movement that athletes of all ability can do at home. As a movement, it can help you build up your strength in your deltoids, which is an especially important muscle for swimming. As well as this, it's highly recommended for physical therapy when you're coming off a shoulder injury, or for just general shoulder injury prevention in the future. So you really need to add this exercise in to your swimming warm-up routine. So to do this exercise, you need to stand on one end of your resistance band with your feet a shoulder width apart and keeping your spine straight throughout. You then place your palm of your hand on your thigh and raise your arm with a slight bend so there's no pressure on your joints until it's around the horizontal position with your shoulders. Hold it there for 2 seconds and return slowly, keeping control. Try to avoid using any momentum or body rocking, as the exercise will have less of an effect and not target the muscles properly. A great way to ensure you're doing this is to keep your core engaged throughout, which will enable a stronger lift. So this next exercise is very similar to the front raise. However, this time instead of raising your arm up forwards, you're raising it to your side. I'll say it again, this is another great exercise to do when looking to prevent shoulder injuries, as it helps build up that strength and broadness in the top of your shoulders. Again, you're standing with your feet at hips width apart on one end of the band, but this time your palm is on the outer thigh. You're going to keep your shoulder blades back for posture and raise your arm out to one side with again a slight bend in the elbow, bringing the arm level with your shoulder. As with the front raise, pause for 2 seconds to fully engage those deltoids and then return to your starting position in a controlled fashion. You also need to remember with this exercise that you're targeting your deltoids. So if you find yourself shrugging like this, then you're doing the exercise wrong and you're likely using the wrong muscles. So why not reduce the resistance in the band you're using to keep a good form? So this next exercise, external rotations, is one of the more important exercises a swimmer can do full stop. Because of the use of repetitive movements that swimmers do, injuries in your rotator cuff can be especially common. And swimmers are especially going to want to avoid rotator cuff injuries, as it restricts the movement both to the side and overhead when you're making that front crawl motion. So to perform it, you're going to tie your band around an anchor point, stand at hips width apart, side on to this anchor location. Keep your elbow tucked into your side so your arm is at a 90-degree angle, and then push your wrist outwards away from the anchor point before returning to your start position in a slow, controlled motion. Even though the aim is to keep your elbow tucked in at all times, there may be a slight movement to help complete the exercise. So the internal shoulder rotation is very much like the last exercise, but in reverse. This again is an important exercise for swimmers to do to strengthen their rotator cuffs. So to do it correctly, assume the same starting position as the previous exercise, with the band wrapped around an anchor point and you standing side on to it. You're going to keep your elbow tucked into your side with a 90-degree arm bend, but this time you're pulling the band towards yourself rather than pushing it away. Whilst performing this movement, keep your forearm parallel to the floor to ensure you're activating the correct muscles. A common mistake of this exercise is twisting your body to help with the movement. This is usually because the resistance band may be too high for you. Remember, these exercises don't require high resistance, as they are only meant to be used for rehab. So this last exercise is a little bit harder to control than the previous ones, so take your time in getting it right. However, like the previous two, it does target the rotator cuff again. The biggest challenge you're going to face when doing this exercise is keeping your elbow still throughout. And this exercise must be done slowly to make sure it's effective and not going to cause any further injury. Okay, to perform it, you're again tying the band around an anchor point in line with your chest, but this time you're facing it. Pull your hand towards your starting position, which is raising your arm parallel off the ground with your elbow bent at 90 degrees. Keeping your elbow fixed, rotate your shoulder 90 degrees upwards until your forearm is vertical. Hold the position for a couple of seconds and slowly return back to the start position. As I said before, keeping your elbow fixed is the hardest part, so full concentration is needed. You'll find that an engaged core is really going to help keep your body stable when doing the arm action. All of the exercises you've seen in this video should be done to around 15 to 20 reps, so you'll need to adjust your resistance band accordingly. And you're going to want to start these exercises early. Don't wait for an injury to happen before you start using them. Add them to your swimming warm-up routine right away. Using them before a big workout is going to greatly reduce the risk of you getting injured and therefore increasing your longevity in the sport, which everyone wants. I hope you've enjoyed this video from Propulsion Swimming. If you have, click that like button, share this video with others, and of course, subscribe for more weekly videos. I'll catch you on the next one.